The debate at 10. Powered by Reva University and Kitply. Co-powered by IIHM.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The debate on wrestlers' protest is going to get bigger tomorrow, essentially because of what you saw in the first half of this conversation when Niranjan was moderating, with the witness coming out and saying that they would be going back to the courts. But then we have another one discussing another important conversation to have now, which is on Karnataka. It's been less than a month since the Vadra Congress came to power in Karnataka, and now the primary and secondary education minister of the state has declared that revision of school textbooks will be done this year itself. Reports say they want chapters on Hedgewar out of the books. Question is, why? What's the priority? What's with the textbook politics? Take a look, and then I come back to discuss.
Less than a month into coming to power, the Vadra Congress wants to revise textbooks.
Whatever changes have been done, I have been telling from the first day, I have a job that is in the interest of children. BJP are so corrupt in their mind, which they wanted to infuse in the system of studies, which we are against it.
They claim to be undoing the saffronization of the syllabus.
ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಕೇಸರೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದಂಥ ಇವರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಸಾಬೀತು ಮಾಡಲಿ. ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಕೋರಿದಂಥ ಈ ನಕಲಿ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಮಾನ್ಯತೆ ನೀಡಲಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Reports allege removal of chapters on the RSS founder, modification in chapters on reformer by Savanna, and alteration in content on Rashtrakavi Kuvempu. The BJP is coming down heavily.
I seldom respond to Congress's antics and news gathering tactics or attention gathering tactics. They have a long history of trying to rewrite history. Lekin to deprive the students and youth of India about what is the history of India, what is the truth about the people who have made India what they are, is I think doing a disservice to the younger generation of Indians.
They allege it is a diversionary tactic from the failure to govern.
Even in the education, they are making vote bank politics. Congress is unable to do because of the false promises which are done at the time of election and which is unable to fulfill the promises. Now they want to see that it will be diverted.
Fact is, the Congress is facing mounting pressure to deliver on freebies it promised.
We believe that people have voted for the Congress because of certain promises they made. If they don't deliver on those promises, we will hold them accountable. We hope that they will learn and that they will change their tactics. If they don't, we will only increase, intensity of our protest.
Has the Vadra Congress government got its priorities wrong? Let's debate.
All right, welcome back again, and joining me to discuss this, Dr. Sudha Halkai, BJP spokesperson, joining us live from Bengaluru. We have Rashmi Samant, activist, live from Bengaluru. Obviously, it's an issue of Karnataka. We have Dr. Sumant C. Raman, political analyst, joining us live from Chennai. And let me begin with Shyam Prasad Meka. He represents the Congress party on this panel. Mr. Meka, what's with these priorities? It's been just a month. You have not been able to sort out the issue of free pass to women to travel in the bus. You have not been able to sort out the issue of free electricity, 200 units. You are still struggling to find a way out. And now this revision of textbooks, which have already been distributed to children, by the way.
See, Abhishek, I don't know why this is such an issue for a prime time on a national TV. Syllabus is being reviewed. And if there is too much syllabus, that's being corrected. And I don't see any reason why actually Mr. Hedgewar should be on the textbooks. And let me tell you, having said that, Hedgewar or Savarkar or Gandhiji or Subhash Chandra Bose, I don't think I remember any of that from my school. Yeah, it is there in school. But I didn't let myself to be fooled by that. I read their books. I understood them later on, and I
What?
know what
Are
it
you saying
is.
textbooks are meant to fool? Are you suggesting textbooks are meant to fool?
Abhishek, I'm saying if somebody is tampering with the syllabus with an ideological intent, then that's fooling. Be it anybody.
Okay.
Students are not
You mean to say only the
students.
headgear bit is about ideology, rest of the stuff is fine? Or can you give me a couple of more examples of what
No.
review or revision you would carry out?
No, that's what I'm saying. Children are not our guinea pigs in our ideological lab. Let's read the history. Let's evoke curiosity and trust our children to grow up and study stuff. That's what I did. I am not a victim to
Absolutely.
anything that these ideologues try to put in my brain, right? So that's the thing. So now
That
let's hold the,
actually, Mr. Meka, then underscores an ideological squint with which you are perhaps looking at this review, because only headgear is the target, it seems, because that's the only thing that has been leaked about the review or revision, nothing else.
I'll tell you. See, Mr. Hegdewar is a personality to be studied, no question about it. But it's not for the children. That's my personal opinion. Okay, I don't know what prompted
Why it's not for the children? I think he only spoke about patriotism. I mean, all his speeches are about getting independence. And at least the bit in Karnataka textbook, class 10 textbook, is about him talking on nation, on patriotism. I mean, what's wrong with that if children read it?
Okay, let me tell you. No, I don't remember stuff from my school, okay? But later on, I read stuff. As far as my understanding goes on, Mr. Hegdewar and other Hindu Mahasabha and RSS ideologues, they can't define nationalism. They have their own view of nationalism. By all means, let's study it. But that's not something to be put in the put in the brains of
Mr. Meka, you're now getting into quicksand, because we thought...
No, I'm not. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let the quicksand take me in. I'm ready. But I am not going to budge from my position.
Let me take this to Sudha. Dr. Sudha Halkai then. Let me take this. You got your opening comments. Let me take this to Sudha Halkai. Sudha Halkai, number one, Mr. Meka says you are making a mountain out of a molehill. What's big deal about this review? What's big deal about this review? Two, he is saying that children should not be taught about headgear because of a certain ideological view he had on nationalism.
It is not required. That's what I'm saying. It's not required.
Yeah. According to them, it is not required.
Okay, it's not required for children. Sudha Halkai, he's saying headgear views on the nation and nationalism are not required for the children.
Yeah, what he means to say is the children of our country, the children of our state should not know the person who has founded RSS, Dr. Keshav Balram Hedgewar. He is one of the person, he is the founder of the largest organization, Hindu organization in the world. And this question was asked even in the BCC, BBC quiz, which is the largest organization. And it was told that it is RSS. So this thing should not be taught to the children of Karnataka or anywhere. But about Karl Marx, it should be taught. About the education system, which is got by Mekelle, it has to be taught, where Mekelle wrote to his father that, whatever education system is emphasized in India, it is going to make the Indians feel not proud about India, but in fact, they're going to be westernized with their culture. And although they'll have the color of the Indians, they'll be completely, oriented toward the Western culture. This should be told to the students of Karnataka, according to him. The letter written by Nehru to his sister, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, should be there in the syllabus. But about headgear should not be told to the children, because, they will have that, they'll imbibe the culture of Hindutva. They'll get more oriented towards Hindutva or the Hindu Rashtra. This should not happen. This is what clearly on a national television they are saying. And this is when even Nehru told that, talking about Hindutva or Hinduism is communal. and talking about Muslims is secular. This is what Congress has got the culture since then. And this is now they're carrying it. The culture is being carried till today. And many of the educationists, you can see, all were leftist. And Nehru was highly influenced by the leftist. He was leftist oriented. And even now, the same thing is being carried
All
by
right.
them.
And
openly they tell that.
Okay, let me take this to Sumant Raman.
What they're telling today.
Dr. Halka, you made your point. You've made your point. Let me take this to Sumant Raman. Sumant Raman, a certain view of history, a Congress view of history, with preponderance of Nehru Gandhis, has been taught to us in history textbooks. You have the irony where it's okay to read Karl Marx, but not Keshav Baliram Hedgewar, who, by the way, Mr. Meka, was a congressman. He was a member of the Indian National Congress till he set up the RSS. But the question is to Sumant Raman. Sumant Raman, this is essentially about a skewed view of history with which you are comfortable, and hence you want only that, to the exclusion of any other view of the independence struggle.
First of all, I think it's hugely ironic to see the BJP accuse anybody else of rewriting history, because that's all that they've been seeming to be doing for the last few years. I remember 2016 or 17 in Rajasthan, they decided to remove all references to Jawaharlal Nehru from the school's textbooks. This was when Vasundhara Raje government was in power in Rajasthan. Subsequently, recently what they have done with the NCRT textbooks. Even Mahatma Gandhi is facing a crisis when he will also be removed is a matter of time. Periodic table is being moved out. So I think it's a bit...
No, that's a wrong conjecture. Sumant Raman, please don't take liberty. That's not happening.
Sorry. It is being moved to a different class. 11th standard, not everybody studies that particular subject. Now the point very clearly is, as you sow, so shall you reap. I believe you must have heard this, biblical saying very often. So you have been doing something for years in locations where you have been in power, and all that the Congress is now doing is removing what you introduced a few years ago. They have not gone and done a full sanity check
since
of
you
all
quoted,
the textbooks. So I find it
Sumant Raman, since you quoted biblical text.
Yeah. So I find it ironic that
since you quoted a biblical text, as you sow, so shall you reap.
All India level, you want to do something, and then when Congress does changes to revert to what was
there is a national education policy, and by the way, the Congress party has said that they would scrap the national education policy in Karnataka. So is it a sovereign? Exactly what Sonia Gandhi said. Is it a sovereign nation or not part of India?
There is no. There are multiple.
There is a national education policy.
No. Tamil Nadu, for instance, my state does not adopt the new education policy. It has not adopted it. There are multiple states which have not adopted the new education policy. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. This whole issue of my way or
because then you are saying that education, Sumant Raman, unfortunately, now I'm broadening the debate. Sumant Raman, unfortunately, it seems that everyone is okay turning education into a political football. That's really coming out of this. Rashmi
Samant,
Samant,
been a political football for very long.
Sumant Raman says that BJP started it, so let them face the music. Is that the argument, really? And what about the kids? 4 million of them in Karnataka who would be facing this again now of getting there. It's not just about Hedgewar. Hedgewar is the peg with which we are discussing the story, but it's about all these children getting to go back to their textbooks afresh after the changes that would be made over a period of months now?
Well, I'd like to make a few observations here. Firstly, I've heard a lot of personal stories and anecdotes on this panel. And I think as a very recent person to have graduated school, all the panelists present here, I'd like to say that school years are some of the most formative years. So maybe you do not remember, but for most people, this is what we remember, and this is something we carry on for the rest of our lives. And it is important to have a balanced study of different perspectives, different ideologies, which have played an important role in our society. Cancelling one side of the story and just pushing a Nehruvian Gandhian philosophy is not all right. It is not okay to have an education system that prefers one ideology over the other. It is important for students to be exposed to all ideologies in an equal sense so that they know the circumstances under which their great nation has evolved. Secondly, I think every state needs to adhere to the national education policy, because after we graduate from schools, we go on to study at undergraduate and postgraduate institutions across the country. That puts students from states that are not a part of a uniform syllabus at a back foot with respect to competing and with respect to performing well if they choose to go to an institutions in any other state in India. So I think every state, if they think that they prioritize the students, that they prioritize the education of their students, and if they want students from Karnataka and Tamil Nadu to do well, if they choose to study in different parts of India, then they really need to put aside their political shenanigans and they need to stick to the national education policy, because the future of this youth of this nation is not something to be gambled with for political mileage.
Good point.
That being said, I'd like to say that if you want to make changes, make it when you come to power at the center.
I would go to Mr. Meka, because the issue is of the Congress party doing something, but because the issue of national education policy was brought in by Sumant Raman quickly. The point that Rashmi is making, I sort of agree with that you need to have a national curriculum framework. You need to have a national education policy which should be above political football.
No, I think that in hindsight, I think what she said is right. Children should be told all about the RSS, how, for large periods of time, it, was actually on the side of the British, and how Mr. Hedgewar...
RSS was there to form a Hindu Rashtra. It was not on the side of the British.
One second.
No, I will not accept this comment of yours.
One second.
No, let me just add, Sumant Raman, there is an error of fact, so I have to correct it.
Satyagraha, 1 second.
You're politicizing this again?
The RSS...
No. Let the children begin politicizing in all the aspects. Why you are misguiding? We have not removed all of the syllabus which is given by the Congress. Only one chapter, one syllabus, one chapter is been removed by the BJP.
Let me just quote something.
Wait. Did RSS join the Salt Satyagraha? Please answer the question, yes or no. Ask her to answer. Did the RSS organization join the Salt Satyagraha? Please answer, madam.
Don't confuse it, okay? Don't misguide it.
I'll come to you, Mr. Meka. I'll come to you.
Included in the syllabus
or no?
of Dr. Keshav
I'll come to you, Mr. Meka. Hold on.
Speak about
yes
it.
Or no, madam.
Don't confuse
Dr. Halkai, direct question to you from Sumant Raman. Respond, then I go to Mr. Meka.
No, see, what I will not accept. See, I'll tell you, Mr. Dr. Keshav Balram Hedgewar motive was to form a Hindu Rashtra, and this has not to be told to the children of Karnataka. How fair is it? Why you want to remove that chapter from the syllabus? You tell me now. And why this was not included in all the years of this year where you have written about Karl Marx and all the Britishers, and only Nehru's glorification was there, and only their syllabus is there. Only their syllabus is there. Only their
No.
Throughout the year,
Sumant Raman, we know who has alliance with the Muslim League. By the way,
missing the very important
we
point
know
about education, about the youth of our nation.
Dr. Halkai, hold on. Sumant Raman, we know which party has alliance with the Muslim League, which party was given a secular clean sheet.
Did the RSS
which party gave secular clean sheet to Muslim League just last week? We know that. Sumant Raman, but hold on, Ms. Halkai, I have to. Sumant Raman, listen. This is unfair. Sumant Raman, listen. You see,
my question. What can I do?
Dr. Keshav Baliram Hedgewar was arrested on sedition charges and produced before a court, and he gave his own defense. He was accused of sedition for making a speech, and then he said, I will give my own defense, following which the judge noted on August 5, 1921, after Keshav Baliram Hedgewar's defense was over, that his defense is even more seditious than his original speech. In his August 19 judgment, the judge ordered Hedgewar to give an undertaking in writing that he would not deliver his speeches again. Now, you see,
When
That's
did
some
when
stricture,
did the
Sumant Raman,
RSS
and that would have
when
come
did
from a
the
patriot.
RSS
Remember
first
the kind of
raise the
speeches that
national
made
flag?
the British show scared
See,
of
forming a
When
Hindu
did-
Keshav
country
Baliram
is
Hedgewar.
Hindustan is a crime
When
for
did
these
the
people.
RSS first raise the national flag? Which year was it? Come on, tell me. How many years after independence did the RSS raise the national flag? Come on, why don't you people answer these questions? You are not willing to
Why
answer.
are you diverting the topic? Why are
I
you
am not
diverting the topic?
diverting,
We are here to
madam. You
speak
must
about.
answer these
We are
fundamental
talking about
questions.
Dr. Keshav Hedgewar.
I think Sumant Raman,
We are
Sumant
talking
Raman,
about
RSS has
the
evolved, so
same
has the Congress
Dr.
party, by the way.
Hedgewar.
Mr. Meka, okay, let me take this to Mr. Meka. Okay, no, I'm taking you there. I'm taking to Mr. Meka. Pranab Mukherjee, India's former president. Was he a congressman or not, Mr. Meka?
He was a congressman throughout his life. So what? Well, how is that relevant to our
Right,
subject
and
now?
when he visited the RSS headquarters in Nagpur, what did he say? He said,
Wait.
Dr.
Abhishek,
Keshav Baliram Hedgewar
Abhi-
was a great son of India.
Abhishek, everybody, including you, me, and all the panelists, we are all great sons and daughters of India. Okay, let's not get into that. Wait a minute, let's stick to the topic. So
Then why target
I'll
one
tell
son
you.
of India with such caprice?
I'll tell you. In the education system and children, be it by Congress or BJP or any other party, I oppose indoctrination. I support exposing children to various thoughts. That's what we need to do.
Then why you are opposing this thought then?
No, wait a minute, madam. Let me finish my train of thought. Don't jump on down my throat, okay? See, we are not here to indoctrinate children with people flying out of the cellular jail on a bulbul. Okay?
It was his illusion that
Just-
he's seeing India, he's seeing his Hindustan, for
No,
which
no,
he
just
sacrificed his life. 14 years he spent in the jail with Sajai Kala Pani. That was his illusion that he's going to see the Hindustan sitting on a bird. And you people are saying
flying
that
on
you
a
know what,
bulbul.
he'll sit
Flying
on a bulbul and go. Huh?
Flying on
You
a
don't
bulbul.
talk about him sacrifice taking the sufferings
on a
from the
bulbul.
Britishers for the
Is
freedom
that
of
what
India.
you
You're
want
not
to
talking about
indoctrinate
that.
the children with?
Huh? You're not talking
People-
about that. You're talking about him
people
sitting on
flying
a
off
bulbul.
on a bulbul.
Huh? This shows
What
this
are we
shows your
talking?
respect for the freedom fighters.
Nah, come on. See, let me tell you, be it be it
He
Hegdewar,
has
be it
expressed his feeling
Savar,
that he has expressed his
Let
love
him,
towards
he
his
has
country, saying he's Hindustan. Every time you people say that he's sitting on a bulbul and going. Why you don't talk about his
Didn't he?
sacrifices? Why don't you talk about his pain?
Didn't he? I'll tell you. My grandfather sacrificed a lot for this country, and that
We are talking about
reflected in my
Savarkar ji,
life.
14 years he
So
was in
what?
jail, who has experienced the
So
Sajai
what?
Kalapani.
So
The
what?
punished. What so,
So
what?
what?
That
Wait
doesn't
a
mean he
minute.
sacrificed
Okay,
our country.
I think we are sort of hitting a stalemate.
Let us try to understand. There are millions of people who sacrificed their lives and
Not like Savarkar ji.
yeah,
We are not saying that people without sacrifices of so many millions of Indians, we have got this freedom.
wait
We
a
are
minute,
definitely
wait a minute,
thankful to
wait a
every
minute.
freedom fighter, including
Dr.
my
Halkai,
father
hold
who was
on.
a freedom fighter.
Dr. Halkai, hold on.
this is
It's
not
a
right.
bait.
This is
It's
not
clickbait on the part of Mr.
This is
Meka.
not
Dr.
right.
Halkai, hold on. You
This is not right.
are falling for
This
it.
is not right.
Dr. Halkai, hold on. You are falling for it.
constantly
Mr. Meka, we are
interrupting.
not discussing Savarkar. Hold on.
We are discussing the
You
youth
get
of this
your
nation
opportunity.
that
You
deserve a
got
fair
to ask
chance.
I think
panelists
you
not to
baited
interrupt.
Dr. Halkai. She bought.
Did he receive pension from
Okay,
British?
quickly, 30
Abhishek?
seconds, then I go to Rashmi. Quickly.
No, okay. Wait. Quickly,
pension,
Sumant,
Hold on.
pension.
Dr.
I am
Mr.
telling you-
Meka, complete your. Okay, Mr. Meka, complete 30 seconds, then I go to Rashmi.
Yes. Ask your other panelists to keep quiet, please. So now, there are millions of people who
Okay, go ahead.
And the गुलामगिरी से जेल रहा था millions of thousands of years के लिए. What about them? The Dalit Bahujans of this country were suppressed, oppressed, and were facing that, and still were the topmost patriots of this country. Why are we not talking about them? Who's Baliram Hedgewar?
Okay,
Talk about the Dalit Bahujans of this country. Talk about the women of this country who sacrificed and गुलामगिरी से जेल रहा है अभी तक.
Mr. Meka, I think
Firstly-
you are, I would accuse you now of digressing and
No, I'm
diverting
not
this debate.
digressing. I am absolutely.
all the issues that you are
if I
mentioning,
may?
all the issues you are mentioning are not directly connected with what we are discussing today, which is about priorities
Yes.
of the new Karnataka government, duly elected, democratically elected Congress government of Karnataka. And by the way, it's been a month, Mr. Mecca, we have not yet heard a single word on the malfunctioning EVMs, by the way.
We haven't heard
Remember?
from Modi ji.
We have not heard a single word on the malfunctioning EVMs, by the way. But then let me take this to Rashmi. Rashmi has to be involved. Rashmi, you see, the announcement today was made by Madhu Bangarappa, the Minister for Education. He was also Vice President of the Manifesto Committee. The announcement today was actually part of the Congress Party's manifesto. Like all other poll promises, if an announcement has been made when the schools open about this promise also that has been made by the Congress Party as part of the manifesto based on which the Congress Party has won the election, Rashmi, one would say it's part of a democratic process which is panning out. The Congress Party made a promise, they've made an announcement, they will do it, irrespective of whatever time it takes. Like how do you grudge it? How do you disagree with it? It's part of the democratic process.
Well, Abhishek, we're talking about children here. Textbooks are a part of curriculum for students who are below 18. They're all minors. They're not voting. So the elders in the room need to take a better decision for them. They're not part of this mandate that was given to the Congress Party. What is best for them is for them to be able to compete on an equal footing with other students of other states, having read the same syllabus, not toe the line of certain party and not be a part of the national education policy. This is not something that is going to benefit little children because they are not the ones going out and giving the mandate. They don't care. In fact, they don't have the right to vote. We are talking about such little children, and we need to take a greater responsibility when it comes to their syllabus, their textbooks, because they're going to be an active part of our society tomorrow. So I think that is very important. And secondly, the gentleman from Congress needs to stop taking full credit for the independence movement. There are lots many people who have been associated with this movement, lots many stories which have been suppressed, lots many stories which have been told generation over generation in families. And taking this kind of credit is not all right. And New India will not accept this kind of cancel culture, wherein certain stories are given a better platform compared to others.
Before I go to Mr. Mecca.
You need to stop taking full ownership.
You will get your right to respond. No, you will get your right to respond. You will get your right to respond. Dr. Halkai.
So, you think the people of India will accept such things?
Dr. Halkai, the fact of the matter is, when the BJP carried out the changes or revision when it was in power, many of those changes had errors creeping in, which your government had to, amend. On the national poet Kuvempu being one, on Basavanna being another. You denied that those mistakes have happened, but those error of facts creeped in and then you had to change. My question is, can we do something so that children studying in class 8, class 9, class 10 are spared the vagaries of this kind of politics? Dr. Halkai.
See, I'll tell you, whatever changes were made by the BJP government, it was rectifying the wrong thing which was written in the textbooks. Okay, it was not, we didn't completely remove what was given by the Congress, but definitely we have made the changes. What was wrong message was conveyed to the students of the Karnataka. And we have no, from some chapters were revised from 5th standard to 9th standard because we felt that, the team of educationists who were not leftist, with, both left and right were there. So they will not understand some chapters in the 5th standard, earlier stages of the classes. So they were posted in the 9th standard. That's it. So we have very well made an education system where we'll understand the children what age, what has to be taught. Other than that, nothing has been done. And one inclusion of one chapter of headgever is causing so much of pain to them. They are really panicking that, children of Karnataka will get into ideology of Hindutva. This shows their panicness.
Mr. Mecca, you get the last word because it's your party there and carrying out these changes. Mr. Mecca, can you promise that the children would be spared these frequent revisions and a certain finality can be provided to these changes and revisions that keep happening in the textbooks? Mr. Mecca, can they be above ideology? Can education stop being a political football?
Abhishek, I totally agree with you. Children should be spared of these ideology battles. And now let me resort to my right to respond.
All right.
Respected panelist has actually mentioned and said, asked me to stop taking credit, entire credit for the Congress party. I don't know in which part of this conversation I took credit. I am saying everybody in this country fought for the freedom. Everybody in this country are fighting still to realize the constitution.
Yes, including Keshav
Why only
Baliram,
few people's
Hedgewar,
name is
Mr.
glorified
Mehta,
over
and
there?
because Sumant Raman said,
Why Hedgewar's name should
as
not
you
be
sow,
there,
so
Hedgewar
shall you
should
reap.
not be there.
I would quote from our text, Asmin Sadi Idam Bhavati, this being that arises, and unfortunately, this cycle keeps going on. As I said, we have to spare our children this vagary of political footballing of education that's happening on that note. Thank you so much, Mr. Meka, Mr. Sumant Raman, Rashmi Samant, and of course, Dr. Halkai for joining us. In fact,